Pony Musescript here, and today I'm going to be doing a director's commentary to the final episode of The Color Goddess, The Choice. So, oh boy, this episode was just... It was a very long one to work on. Obviously it was like an hour and 16 minutes long. So I guess that's the reason why there was such a huge gap between episode 8 and episode 9, but the other reason was because of the 4 prequels that were airing on the 25th of every second month, and to kind of hype up for episode 9, just so like, oh no, we haven't had any TCG stuff recently or whatever. So, yeah. But I think time really crunched towards the end. I was desperately trying to get the last bits of art done, and at some point I was just dying when I had to fill in scenes that I didn't think I needed to fill in at the last minute. And I was so glad when the episode was finally finished, I could just plop and rest. And now, because I haven't been working on audio drama stuff for quite some time, I'm just like, oh, what do I do? I just kind of do random stuff now, so yeah. Actually, I've been doing a lot of work on the next audio drama I'm working on, The Demon's Daughter, and I'll reveal more information about that when the time comes, wink. But anyways, without further ado, I'm going to get right into the commentary because this is a really long episode and there's so much to talk about, and without further ado, let's get on to the episode in 3, 2, 1, and play. This episode will contain some scary scenes. So yeah, unlike episode 8, there is not blood warnings. I mean, the only reason that episode 8 did have blood warnings was because of Wolf Harmony and Wolfie the Wolf Girl. Anyway, so there's something different about the previously on the Color Goddess soundtrack here. It is the soundtrack prologue to War. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit more. But yeah, this is, you know, the tune of Tragodyssea, but done with East-West choir and tubular bells to make it sound like, I don't know, church-like or epic, you know, something along those lines. I just liked doing it in that arrangement. It was just really cool. And yes, there was a lot of stuff to cover from the previous episode. So much art from my amazing, talented artists, including the ones that are not in this particular episode.
You are a horrible king and a horrible father.
You sound just like your mother.
And then that transition was perfect. It's like, you sound just like your mother, and then it goes to Dira dying. Fun fact, I think
No way. You're my mother?
this made the VA of Blue Streak tear up during the song. Okay, I made her tear up, but sadly she didn't tear up for this particular episode, maybe because she already saw the script. THS, I did so much better job in making her cry. Oh well. I mean, there are feels in this episode, but there's also tons of epic stuff, so the real battle between us begins now. And then, like, after 10 months of waiting, then there's the episode. So, now we cut into, I guess this is like the psyche of Misty / Tenebrae. And this is kind of like a metaphor. She's sinking further and further down as Tenebrae is taking control, because she's become Tenebrae permanently now. So, Misty no longer has control, I guess. It's pretty much similar to how Tenebrae took control over Rainbow Dash back in THS, and then she was kind of hiding in the psyche and being all tied up and stuff. Although this one's a bit more, how would I put it? It's a bit more dramatic because, you know, Misty and Tenebrae are one and the same. And so yeah, I was trying my best to, like, replicate an ocean or something, but I'm not really good at drawing ocean. You know, I haven't really been that experienced with drawing an ocean.
I'm so sorry, didn't mean to.
Oh yes, and then we have this picture. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention in the references video, this is also another excerpt from Tenebrae's backstory, where, you know, Celestia tried to bring an apple to life, and then Luna accidentally smashes a clay sculpture of Tenebrae, and then she turns back to life. And what Misty just said there, the component of a demon, that's very important to know for the demon's daughter. So now we cut to the present, I guess, and this is Wolf Harmony's art, and we first saw this as sketches in the first sneak peek for this episode back in January. She did storyboards for all of her scenes that she did, and she sent me this scene because she wanted to animate bits and pieces of it, and when she did send it to me, it was just, my mouth dropped. It was absolutely amazing, and I just love how she draws Sofidos. He looks so menacing, although she has told me that she does not like drawing shadowy figures. It was either her. No, I think it was her. I can't get my two wolf artists confused. But I love the panning and stuff that she does with some of the... So yeah, for context, she edited this particular scene. And I love it to bits what she's done with this. And I actually added that little breath thing as she's drawing closer to Rainbow Dash, just for, chilling effect. And I actually re-recorded Rainbow Dash's lines, because I soon figured out how to record them without peaking too much. So that's why they sounded different in the final episode than from the first sneak peek. And then, yeah, Tenebrae right now is sucking Rainbow Dash's grief until Liako comes in. And this is from the other wolf. The wolf girl. And, she did a lot of art for this particular scene. And I actually like how she's... I mean, it's not, accurate with the background and stuff. But, whatever. Oh yeah, Blue Streak was still supposed to be an apprentice in this scene, but... Oh well, I don't really care about continuity errors. She sent in her scene pretty close to the episode's deadline, so it wasn't gonna be enough time, you know, to change anything. It didn't really matter anyway. So, yeah, Tenebrae becomes the queen temporarily. But of course, that doesn't give anyone the invitation to ship them together. No, Sofidos and Dira for the win, you know, because they're married.
Was never like that.
And I also like what I did, I put the Ost Ancient Kingdom in there, the soundtrack that plays when Dira is telling Liako of how she died. I thought it was, a really good, reprise thing. What I kind of figure out is that everyone was, so focused into destroying King Sofidos until Liako says the truth about how he actually was a good king before, and so their views on him have now changed.
How do you feel? Burned.
Yes, I still love Blue Streak's lines. I mean, they give a bit of comedy, but, Pea in a Pod is literally Blue Streak, the embodiment of Blue Streak. She's just taken over the character, which is fine.
I'll go rally the troops while you dispose of it.
And I also like what I do with all the panning to different characters. That actually gave me the excuse not to draw as many bits of artwork than I usually do, because I drew so many scenes for this episode, more than half. Oh, my poor hand. But then again, I was also drawing all the art for the prequels as well. think Skylight Glow wondered if I was gonna be okay, if I was a human or a robot. The truth is, I have lots of free time, so that's why I've done like 2 audio dramas with a 3rd one on the way, and I don't regret anything.
Come back here, you!
Yes, we've got the confrontation of Rainbow Dash and King Sofidos. And, this is also the first song for episode 9. And, so as I think I mentioned earlier, what was really special about this episode was because I got to work on the new, sounds, East-West, that plugin for Logic, and so I was able to experiment with more realistic instruments. And I decided to experiment with that in the songs, especially the strings. I fell in love with the string sounds of East-West. So, I thought, great opportunity.
What?
And also, like, how I originally did the songs, I kinda did them in Sibelius first. I think up until episode 6 I was doing that. And then by episode 7 and 8, I gotten much used to composing them from scratch in Logic. And for episode 9, I was using the East-West sounds to compose them. Which, in my opinion, they sound a lot more epic. Especially this song. This song was supposed to sound epic. You know?
What's going on?
And yeah, this song I needed to actually compose around the dialogue, so I was begging P so many times to send me her lines so I could actually compose the song. Like, what I sent narrator Pony, who does King Sofidos, I just kind of sent him a metronome and what the melody sounds like, because I hadn't actually completed the instrumental yet. Yeah, for example, this section is, an instrumental version of Genie of the Locket, aka Blue Streak's theme. It's kind of like a marching theme of Blue Streak's theme. As I mentioned in the references, that particular bit, it's not really referencing anything, it's just, I don't know, it's just up to interpretation. Alright, and then we've got the transformation in the episode. Fun fact, there were so many layers that were used to create this transformation scene in Coral. So many, but it was totally worth it. And I figured that, for King Sofidos' part, I would give him a familiar memory, a familiar melody to use. So his theme, aka Crush the Land. And, most of the melody, actually, for this particular song I'd composed about 4 years ago for something else. I just kind of recycled it into something much better than what it originally was.
Seriously? Not very goddess-like, is it?
That's only like a bruise, and those are supposed to be punches. They look like dungos. I don't even know. This is my favorite bit, when they're just singing at the same time, like Jean Valjean and Javert. I love those types of interactions between villain and hero. And then this is the bit that was like in the thumbnail image. And then Rainbow Dash thinks that she has defeated him with 1,000 punches, but she was wrong. And now we have Marzipan Studios art, and she was actually one of the first artists to send me art. That's why her art was sent as early. That's why her art was seen as early as May, when the teaser trailer came out. I also like how she's drawn King Sofidos. I also forgot that she was an artist in Friendship is Tragic, and when I saw her art in that series, I was like, oh my gosh, it's Marzipan Studios art, that's so cool. Oh yeah, fun fact. In that section, P was actually swearing. No joke. So I literally had to censor it. It's not like me, where I just leave a space and then put a censor beep. She actually swore, although I'm kind of used to it by now. Yeah, and all the cartoony sound effects that go with flicking Blue Streak like a bug into a wall. Oh dear. And now we move on to Ivica's scene. Well, originally this was going to be from one of my other artists, Skyline Pony, but she dropped out, so then Ivica did this scene, so that was good. So we now have a design for the Kingdom Soldier that Deathwise Zero played. He's in orange. But we also have another Kingdom Soldier who is played by Roundtrip. Oh my gosh. I just loved his voice during this thing. I mean, he has bloopers as well, but I didn't put them in the blooper reel because I'm saving them for something else. Oh yeah, I don't know why it kept zooming out and in various places in this section. It was just supposed to be a gradual zoom out as the flashes of lightning came. I think it was probably something that happened with Coral that just slipped past me, so, I don't know. Whatever. But I guess no one really found that odd, so, well, not to my knowledge anyway. Also, I love how Ivica did Tenebrae. That's the last thing I'll mention about that. But now we go to the next scene, which again, done by me, because I did, like, most of the art for this episode, which I didn't mind doing. Because, you know, I so looked forward to working on this episode and the art for this episode that I listened to so many bits of music to get me inspired. Oh yes, King Sofidos is about to reveal his secret weapon that we haven't seen until this very episode, and I guess it's kind of a crucial part for it as well. And also I can't be bothered drawing all of those kingdoms, so that's why they're just grey crowd thingies, you know? I think that's just me being lazy.
What's the name of this weapon?
Oh yeah, and then that's my interaction with Round's character. Oh dear.
I swear I've seen this.
Oh yes. And Tenebrae has seen this sword before. I wonder where. When I was including that tiny little bit, like, as long as he disposes of that rainbow pest, I was making sure I blurred out the weapon because I didn't want it to be like a spoiler or something. Oh yeah, and then we go over to this scene. And this episode was from THS episode 6, so very old ancient art, but it's to prove a point. And this section is from Tenebrae's backstory. I did actually listen to the original recording for this about 4 years ago, on the 25th of November 2017, and our acting, and Flutterose's acting, is so much better in this scene than it was 4 years ago. So I'm very impressed with that. Yeah, because I freaking love Tenebrae's backstory and how tragic it is.
If this continues, everything and everyone will be destroyed.
Huzzah! The very first picture I ever drew of King Sofidos, which first appeared in THS episode 9. And that was just, the idea of King Sofidos came during that thing, and it was just a random thing. I mean, I didn't think of, like, branching up upon it until much later when I started writing for TCG. And then, for you shippers, I inserted most of the pictures of Misty and Rainbow Dash together, and so then Tenebrae can change into a former form. You know, in my opinion, I really like Tenebrae's older self. There's just a sort of innocence there, I guess. Maybe it's just with her eyes, probably. Oh, and this is done by one of my new artists, Prisma Nocturnal Pony. The aspect ratios for her scene were all over the place. Let's just say that it wasn't really a consistent thing, Because, like, with this episode and the last episode, I was having the aspect ratio at, like, 16:9, right? So if I did have any pictures that were not in that aspect ratio, I'd be panning them in a certain way, so there wouldn't be any letter boxes, let's just say. Yeah, and as I mentioned in the references video, I actually, yeah, I think you guys already know that I have a reversed piano for the track Diagnosed, and so I unreversed it and slowed it down for this particular section, so I was just kind of experimenting here.
You won't survive this sword attack. You need to use your powers to escape. I can't.
Yes.
But you were right.
I love the interaction between Rainbow Dash and, Good Tenebrae. Because it's Misty. Technically it is Misty, because Good Tenebrae is Misty, you know? But maybe slightly younger sounding. And then the reverse piano comes back as it gets faster and faster. And then Tenebrae gets struck. Look, it cracks, boom! Explosion! That bit was very fun to work on. And it wasn't really said in the script, I just kind of improvised this, that even the roof gets destroyed. So, when I made that decision, I had to re-edit that bit of audio so the voices were no longer echoing with reverb, because it made it look like they were outside now. And I guess because it's like the really early morning, because like midnight had already passed and stuff, that's why the sky looks so dark and red, but also because it's the the Deadlands, and it looks super dramatic. But, okay, so this particular scene was the one I was looking forward to the most in editing. And you will not believe the time difference between me recording Dying Misty and Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash I had recorded more recently, whilst Misty's dying monologue, fun fact, I recorded back, I think, in maybe early February of 2020. I got back from a cruise, and I started to feel a little bit sick. Remember that one video where I was like, Happy Rainbow Dash Day! And I was just like, sick with a cold, but she's getting better, that one. I recorded Misty's lines during that time, when my voice had gotten a little bit better, so I didn't sound like a 12-year-old boy. But, yeah, I recorded these lines whilst I was sick, but it worked so well, because, you know, it sounded more genuine, you know, genuine dying. Well, I mean, I recorded the dying voice of Pinkie Pie for Friendship is Tragic when my voice was about to die from all the coughing I kept doing. Dang it, Scribbler. But yeah,
You finally gotten rid of your curse.
But because of that,
but anyway,
locket is cracked.
I didn't want to make it look like she had a lot of blood on her, so I guess she's got like a couple of bruises here and there. But yeah, I didn't want to make it too graphic, you know? Even though I would say that this series is probably parental guidance.
You sound like you're giving up.
Alright, and then we have this scene where Rainbow Dash cries for the bajillionth time. Because I love making her cry for some reason. And I guess it didn't help when I had the instrumental to, Is This What I Wanted reprise whilst this was happening. Oh, even Skylight Glow pointed that out. Yeah. I won't say that I was on the verge of tears when I was recording Rainbow Dash's part, because I don't cry at anything, but I guess there was some form of, crying vocal there after I was done. Sometimes that happens, sometimes I do maybe tear up a tiny bit, but not that much. So maybe, I don't know where I was going with that. Oh yes, Misty's dying words. I love you, Rainbow Dash. Although, of course, Rainbow Dash doesn't really, understand what she means by that. because, you know, they're best friends. I mean, it could be love as in a totally platonic way, right? But then all the shippers would be like, oh my gosh, she said it! And then we have this bringing back when they first met as Misty and Rainbow, just to make the scene all the more painful to watch. And I still don't regret anything. You know, because I wanted to make it super sad, right? I think I caught a lot of people by surprise. I was watching this with Sour and Round, and they were both, I think they were both shocked when Misty died, especially Round, actually, because he had less lines than Sour did. So, yeah, well, there was that. And then there's another section where I have frame animation, which would take forever to do in Coral. Very time consuming. And this is the because, like, when you're overcome with grief, you kind of do, well, you kind of think irrationally. So she thinks that her goddess powers will heal or bring Misty to life, but instead it shatters. And, for context, Misty fades away, and, Rainbow falls unconscious. And then we cut to the princesses, who are useless. And that is not out of character for them, they are useless.
Must have faith in Rainbow Dash and the others.
And what about the citizens?
So yeah, they're trying to figure out what to do because King Sofidos is coming, and they have no idea what to do about it. You know,
citizens of the Crystal Empire, an extreme danger.
I think I only drew like about 4 pieces of artwork for this scene, and we got Chrysalis and... Chrysalis? Did I just say... Wow! Did I just say Chrysalis? I meant Cadence and Shining Armor. Wow, that would be funny if Queen Chrysalis was there instead of Cadence. That'd just be an epic twist. Wow. I like how I just say the wrong things and then I just make a really random joke about it.
Do you think Applejack will be okay?
So, yeah. I mean, I am fully aware that Scootaloo has actual parents, but, you know, at the process of writing this episode, probably, I think it was in the production of episode 6, and then writing for episode 6, that was back in the production of episode 4, so, yeah. Oh, yes, and then we have this scene with Discord, who I still struggle to draw, because I don't like drawing Discord. I'm sorry, Discord. If I could find out, like, if I could say someone who is really good at drawing Discord, it would definitely be Ivica, because she draws him a lot, and so she's practiced a lot. But, like, even to this day, I just use a lot of references to figure out what Discord looks like. The bunnies are no problem, though. The bunnies I can draw with ease, because bunnies are very easy to draw.
More danger if we go directly to where Fluttershy is.
Look, I'm not going to repeat the events of the movie where I had my chaos reactions on vibrate as I was having a relaxing beach vacation.
Yep, that was my explanation as to why Discord was not in the MLP movie. I mean, he did appear in balloon form at the start of the movie, but besides that, he just wasn't really there. But, like, if he was in the movie, he would have ended it in, like, 2 seconds. There would be no conflict. But it was plot convenience. Oh, and here was one of my other favorite scenes to work on, because I freaking love emotional scenes, or like really dark scenes. I love those to bits. Really excited to work on them. And at this point, Rainbow Dash Delirious thinks that she has actually healed Misty. But no, everyone knows what happened. Applejack takes her hat off to pay respect to the dead, so that should give Rainbow some form of clue that Misty is indeed in the afterlife. And then, yeah, and her locket has been destroyed. Well, there goes the efforts of the herb, the rainbow goddess stone, and the gems of grief that were obtained to cure Tank in THS. Oh well. Oh yes. I did have to re-record this part with Rainbow because she peaked a lot in the original recording. So I needed to do something about that.
You need to calm yourself. Punching the gate isn't going to fix anything.
And yeah, yeah, they're in the Goddess's Cell. I already mentioned that. It mentions that in the episode. Duh. I think one of my reactors thought that Misty was unconscious, and I'm like, no. In my mind, no, she's very, very dead. I will grab you a death certificate, like the one that they had for the Wicked Witch of the East and the Wizard of Oz. Oh yeah, when I wrote this part of the script, I rehearsed it so many times for some reason, because I kind of like rehearsing bits of the script that I really, really like. And for Rainbow Dash, I just went all out. Just like with all the screaming and crying and all that stuff. And I think my vocal cords were probably fried by the end. And I also love the dialogue that Applejack has with Liako. That was another bit where I liked rehearsing as well. It showcases the diversity of my vocal range. Oh yes, and don't forget that Tank is in this audio drama too. Give him a hug. Yes, but people were like saying at some point, I think it was in episode 8, why is Rainbow Dash crying over Misty when in the previous audio drama she was crying about Tank? And I was like, she can cry about different things. She really, really, really liked Misty. You know, it like, if I lost one of my friends like that, I mean, I don't know. And then we move on to Ivica's second scene for the audio drama, and it's actually in the second sneak peek for the episode, which was released in July. And yeah, that was a pretty cool effect that I used there to showcase Discord opening the rift. Why didn't Discord, like, just teleport everyone there immediately, and they had to hike out for 7 days? Well, because how his teleportation works, I guess it goes to a pony, in this case Fluttershy, rather than a location, because Discord has never been to the Kingdom Lands, so it would make a lot more sense if his teleportation went to something he was familiar with, like Fluttershy. And a lot of people were theorizing what the riddle meant when I put out the sneak peek. Some people were like, oh hey, it's Muse and Round, and other people were like, oh hey, it's Tank and Rainbow Dash. Or it's like, it's something that can defeat King Sofidos, or something along those lines. That's still one of my favorite Rainbow Dash lines. Oh yeah, and the goddesses are here too, just in case you didn't notice that they were here. When I was watching this episode with Sour and Round, Round was just laughing his head off at this particular bit, where P was just yelling as Blue Streak. She just delivered it perfectly. It was amazing.
No.
Oh yeah, this bit was so confusing. I had to explain why the riddle was there, and so it turned out that it was actually an extra part of the riddle and how that worked. My theory is that, well, Hudaka kind of intervened with Tenebrae in some way, like, I guess accidentally tricked her. Like, Hudaka would be like, oh, we really shouldn't be giving that bargain. Oh wait, Tank only has 3 days left to live. Okay, well don't worry, I've got a little antidote thing. And Tenebrae's like, fine, although I doubt that they'd actually do anything useful with it. Or, you know, my plan's still gonna go on, you'll see. It's like they probably had some kind of interaction somehow. I mean, she's a goddess, she can do anything, right? You know? OP. OP goddess. Oh and this bit.
What What's he trying to say?
This bit was actually kind of planned out, like, after I was like, how come no pony was buried with in Blue Streak's grave? I had to think of why that was. And so then I was like, Blue Streak is tank confirmed.
Thank you, Fluttershy.
And which confused so many people, but I don't care. I don't usually like to be predictable with stuff, and I like to expand my lore. No, I'm not talking about lore as in Legally Blonde lore, I'm talking about lore as in, like, you know, the expansion of my universe. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this scene is done by one of my new artists, SunnyRoop23. Their art is so adorable.
You see,
Very cute indeed.
thanks to Hurika
And
that the summer
another artist who also was in Friendship is Tragic as well.
happened on the
So,
day I was buried.
and then we have a flashback to when Blue Streak's funeral was held,
Hurika was
and
indeed
Rainbow
the
Dash was still a
Sofidos
filly.
beside Rainbow Dash. But after
And
reaching
this is a rain effect that I have in Coral, so if you're wondering what that is. And then she actually sent me a little bit of frame animation. I think it was as a GIF at first, but of course I can't use GIFs in Coral, so I had to convert it to an MP4 format. But yeah, that was fine. She sent me a lot of pieces of art, but I could not use them all.
Blue Streak.
Right. Anyways, and then we have this interaction between Blue Streak and Hurika. I think originally P was supposed to be the part for elderly Blue Streak, but I feel that she didn't really sound that much like an elderly pony. So I thought just for continuity reasons that I would, because I also voiced elderly Blue Streak in the last episode of the Heart Shell, so that would make a lot more sense. But of course, in order to make me sound that elderly, I had to pitch my voice down quite a bit, because just sounding like this is not going to sound elderly enough. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I did there. But I love the backgrounds that SunnyRoop did for this scene. And then Skylight, when she was like that, it's like her parents don't matter, and I'm like, there is a point to this, I swear. Hurika has her priorities. And just like that, a tortoise is born.
Now remember, Blue Streak.
I guess it's like reincarnation, transformed into something that can live a long time.
Do whatever it takes to win her heart. And most importantly, look out for her.
And yeah, that concludes that little tiny flashback thingy. And then we cut back to my art, one of the bajillion scenes that I do for this episode. Oh yeah, and old art for THS episode 8, and art from TCG episode 1. Oh yes, this bit. Just classic Pinky breaking the fourth wall by bringing in something from the MLP wiki. I mean, I guess, it would have made more sense if, like, maybe Rainbow's grandfather would have been Tank, but at the time THS was out, absolutely no male voice actors were in that audio drama. It was only, like, me, Flutteros, Popcake 101, Dolphin Wave X, and Piano Pod. We were the only voice actors for that audio drama. It wasn't until TCG where we actually had male voice actors, so a bit more diversity. And then we have the return of Kingdom Guard 1, or Rukas, voiced by Brian Random VA. And at this point, he still believes that his brother is dead. And during the premiere, Sour was like in the chat, he kept saying, even though Muse killed my character off, even though my character is dead, you know, to give everyone the belief that he was dead. I mean, after I gave Sour the script for episode 8, I reassured him that he actually isn't dead, but I told him to keep it a secret. You know, to keep it a surprise. So that's why, like, for maybe 10 months, he was like, Muse, how dare you kill my character? But I bamboozled you all. I didn't kill Sour's character. Oh yes, and this Ost that plays when they reunite is the Ost that plays at the start of prequel 4. So that's why it's not featured in the complete Ost. I will release like a separate Ost video for the bonus Ost, like The Birth of Iris, that comic dub, and also the OSTs for the prequels. I will release that after the 5th prequel gets released on Christmas, so keep an eye out for that. There will be more OST videos coming up very soon. Oh yes, and then Brucus is just telling everyone pretty much what happens in the 4th prequel. And don't ask me where Ox's bandages came from. He probably found some house or something and then just... Or maybe he just knows really good first aid. Oh yes, and then we have more scenes from Ivica. I love her art, it's just so amazing. And she finished her scenes very fast as well. One thing that Ivica and I have in common, we both love Fluttercord. So I have a lot of Fluttercord interactions in this audio drama.
Are we just gonna sit here in this cell and let that jerk destroy our home?
And I was like, I need to have that line in a trailer.
We might have another way to defeat him.
Oh yeah, I had to take over Darling Moon as Satura. I think I did a pretty good job trying to replicate her voice though.
I don't care. Tell me.
Like, not like the edgy sister, but like, you know, the serious sister of the three.
And use the last remaining bits of our powers to power up your locket and defeat him.
Well, power up the broken bits of Locket, force them together one last time, and then boom, Deus Ex Machina.
Why would you be asking me this now?
Oh yeah, this particular Ost, I Would Rather Die a Hero is what it's called. And it's one of my favorite Osts. It incorporates the melody of Is This What I Wanted and also Going My Way, the two main themes for Rainbow Dash and Misty. There's like a lot of doubt in this particular... I think originally I was gonna use this Ost for when Misty was dying, but then I decided to use it for this scene to showcase when Rainbow Dash was gonna kick the bucket. I guess. Something along those lines.
The Can lands and even King Sofidos can possibly return.
Well, I mean, actually, it's not just Going My Way and Is This What I Wanted. It also includes one of the themes, like A Hero, which was an Ost that played when Rainbow Dash is announced a goddess. And other... I mean, it's kind of more like an overture or a medley of some kind, incorporating all these different themes.
It will also set us free.
That's not a downside, darlings. We came here to set you free.
And then that's my vocals singing the melody of Going My Way. And that must really hit hard, you know, because that was the very first song in the audio drama.
She will most likely not survive the impact.
And yeah, for this particular episode, because I didn't know when VAs were going to turn in their lines, I actually did demo lines for the VAs that hadn't done their lines yet, so I could fit them in, because so many artists wanted to hear what their scene sounded like so they could do some animation, so I was like, okay, here's that with those demo lines. So it was very interesting when I actually got around to fitting in those extra VA lines into the scene. Some I had to speed up, some I had to slow down. It was very interesting to experiment with. And then after Ivica's scene, there's mine. I love this scene so much. We just have this monologue. A bit of it was put in the teaser trailer, but I didn't include all of it because it had a lot of spoilery material. So I didn't want to reveal any spoilers in the teaser trailer for what would happen, like Misty dying. I think a lot of people like Skylight Glow were like, If Misty dies, I swear. I keep mentioning Skylight Glow a lot, but she did a review of it like in about I think it's like an 11-minute long video thing, listing her thoughts on this particular episode. Give it a watch anyway, it's really cool.
I've matured enough as a leader to...
Oh yes, and Liako can use her nature abilities. And that bit was really funny. I love the ending bit. Oh yeah, and Blue Streak has a jug of cider. Don't question where that came from, it's Blue Streak. But as I was saying, I love that little bit of Ost at the end. Oh yes, and here we have the final battle. So from scenes 23 to 26, I had the audio edited, but I hadn't had the music composed yet. So once the audio for this bit was edited, I actually had a film soundtrack format and composed over the dialogue, like with what was happening. I mean, the first time I kind of did that was in TCG episode 1 when they were having the gala scene, but I guess that sounded a bit sloppy and messy. I've gotten so much better at, like, playing in time. So, yeah, with like an idea of what to do with everything. Oh yeah, and then we have Luna. It's very easy to draw Luna, but then not as easy to draw Celestia. My drawings of Celestia have differed over the years. Mainly her eyes, how I draw her eyes. I tried to replicate what the show did, like with the eyeliner or something, but then that just looked really wrong in my style. So I just used my normal eye style for Celestia's eyes, and that actually worked much better. You know, just to work with what looks good for you and what doesn't look good for you. And then, of course, in the Ost, this particular bit of the Ost, the violin is actually playing the melody of that one song that Celestia and Luna sing in THS episode 5 about the demon falls.
Only to protect them, but it was wrong of us.
Especially to Tentabry. She never meant any
Tentabry.
harm. She was trapped in a body.
I remember when Flodorose called her Tenna Beep. I can't say that word.
Impossible. He shouldn't be this close.
Oh yes, and then we have King Sofidos, who has broadcasted himself as a hologram for everyone to see. Also, where have his armies of Canaans gone? I couldn't be bothered drawing them. That's why I only had like the first 2 Canaan soldiers. It would just take too long to draw them, yeah. Yeah, that's why I usually don't like drawing crowd scenes, unless I can put in a lot of OCs in there. Cause like, coming up with OCs on the spot just for that scene just seems a little wasteful. I guess that's what most artists for audio dramas do anyway. If they're doing a crowd scene, they'll just fill it with OCs like of the cast, or other OCs from other mediums and stuff. So that's what I usually do.
No, there's not.
And then we have the grand return of Rainbow Dash and the others. And Liako is holding Misty's brooch. I mean, they're besties.
You're alive!
So, there's that. I mean, they were besties because Misty is dead at the moment. So she's missing in action. Or dead in action.
That shouldn't make a difference. I've consumed 90%
Oh yeah, this bit of the Ost I loved working on because I was trying to replicate what a dramatic soundtrack, like trailer Ost would sound like. And then we have transformation number 2, where Rainbow Dash goes full goddess mode with not just Tudica but Satara and Lumina. So I guess some kind of alicorn, but the horn is just kind of a hologram, I guess. It's not really an alicorn, really. You know, it's kind of like... okay, spoilers for who have not watched the MLP G5 movie. She's kind of like Sunny at the end of the movie, with the horn and wings. And yes, title drop. She finally embraces being the color goddess.
From last time she was powered up. You're right.
And then Liako's mind just switches from 0 to 100. She's like, okay, Rainbow will save you, but oh no, what if she kills him? Oh crap, I'm gonna go and save my father, yep. Yep.
Liako, no!
Oh, and then I loved this bit. This bit was really cool. Has how the music fades away, and then there's just white.
No.
And then up in the distance we have Misty
And I'll be joining you
looking
very
at her very tearfully.
This is what I wanted.
And then Sonic Rainboom, because I couldn't be bothered drawing the actual Sonic Rainboom. Fun fact, this scene was originally supposed to be done by Wolf Harmony, but she only sent me a couple of bits of art, and this was in my mad dash to fill in artwork, so I had to fill in the rest of the scene as backup. I mean, this one wasn't so bad because they're in a white background. And then this particular art was Wolf Harmony. I don't think I've ever... I have had that happen before, where I've shared a scene with another artist, and it just kind of jumbled up in styles for a bit and confused everyone, but it doesn't matter. Oh yes, and King Sofidos finally sees his dead wife. This was my favorite image that Wolf Harmony had done for this particular scene. And I love how the hands are like slowly fading away and everything's fading to white. And then I drew the rest of the scene. Yeah, there was only like 2 images that she managed to get done. There was like a ton of storyboards, so I can understand why she wasn't able to do the rest. But I'm glad that she was able to do her first scene in its entirety, so that was cool.
Thank you, Dad. I am truly proud.
People were like, was it right to reform him? He killed ponies or whatever. He should be in jail. But it's okay because he's back to normal, and he's also smaller, so no one will have to draw him as a giant anymore, which is kind of good, because, like,
Who knows?
I got the whole giants thing from Steven Universe with the diamonds, so, yeah, I was very happy to be drawing them normal height. And this, I believe, is Ivica's final scene, and this is where Rainbow Dash is, well, no longer with us. And this reminds me too much of the last adventure when Discord dies. Although Discord was covered in blood and stuff, whilst Rainbow Dash isn't. And I like how her face isn't being shown here.
Well, RD.
This was another scene I loved voice acting for, because I got to experiment with everyone's emotions. And even Blue Streak is getting misty-eyed, and Tank cries. Or it could be like Tangled, where a single tear brings Rainbow to life, but no, it's not like that. And no, you can't have a Muse Script audio drama without Rainbow Dash crying even more. I've lost count of how many crying scenes Rainbow Dash has had in this one episode. Like, how many times can she cry? Like, someone asked me, how many times do you plan to make Rainbow cry? And my answer would just be, yes. That would just be my answer. My answer would just be yes. I had a whole video about it with Hey Mr. Blue Sky as a meme that I put on my Twitter like 20 days before this episode aired. As a joke. I also like when, after I've had a good cry as Rainbow Dash, then I just have that croakiness. I don't bother to clear my throat because it adds to the genuine emotion of the torments that I put this Pegasus through. So yeah, one good thing about not clearing my throat is that I get the croakiness and the emotion still. And what does she do with Spike? I guess prank Spike with Pinky, probably? I don't know.
Oh, Rainbow.
Oh yeah, and I love this image. This image of Huraka just hugging Rainbow is just really pretty. I mean, I'm usually better at drawing the goddesses when they're, like, upright, in a way, because their dress designs, especially Huraka, are very complicated. But don't blame me, I drew them hastily back in 2017 when I was trying to figure out what the goddesses would even look like.
If you give up what that is, you'll be able to live a normal life again.
Oh yeah, so the original script for this episode, it did have Rainbow getting rid of the sonic rain boom, but then at the episode she gets a brooch, which actually gives her a portion of Yurika's powers to perform the sonic rain boom again. But then after much thinking, I decided to scrap that ending because it would kind of make the sacrifice a bit more meaningless. So in this ending, which is much better, Rainbow Dash sacrifices her sonic rain boom for good, so she can live, and Misty can live, and it gets returned back to its rightful owner, being Huraka.
Good luck on the next step of your journey.
And then that's Huraka's soul, I guess, coming out of Rainbow and returning back to Huraka. And then we have another one of my new artists, Sugar Cloud. And her art is so adorable. I mean, I comment about her art a lot, especially in Love and Kindness. I love the huge eyes and ears are a huge mark of her style, and they're absolutely cute.
Remember when Tink died for a brief period of time and then he was brought back to life?
I have a habit of, like, having death scenes and then having them, like, be brought back to life. Although the one with Blue Streak in the THS Christmas special, that really shouldn't have existed.
Rainbow darling, are you alright?
That was interesting.
Miss alive. Huh? What do you mean?
Oh yeah, I did have to ask Sugar Cloud to have a few extra scenes, you know, to make more sense, I guess.
You gave up your sonic rainbow.
And then, of course, everyone would be shocked, especially Pinkie Pie, about Rainbow Dash getting rid of the sonic rainbow. See, this is why I love the season 5 finale so much, because it just showed how important Rainbow Dash is to Equestria, just for doing that sonic rainbow, and that gave me the inspiration to create the Color Goddess, based on a theory of how important the sonic rainbow really is. And then we hop over to the next scene, which is actually a backup scene that I did. It was originally supposed to be done by Wolf Harmony, but it didn't get done in time. But even if it was backup art, I still really like what I did. I tried my best to not rely on backgrounds, I guess, to paste down. So what I mean by that is for this particular scene, I created the backgrounds from scratch. I used the backgrounds as kind of like a color guide, but yeah, I kind of did it from scratch. I mean, I do usually do that, like, do the backgrounds from scratch, unless the backgrounds are really complicated, like the streets of Ponyville, or Cantor Castle, or something that just have a lot of detail. Oh yes, and then we have Misty as an alicorn.
Different in color. And they have a horn.
And yeah, so her mane is supposed to kind of reflect what her mane was when she was Tenebrae, although I think I made it a bit more bouncy, like what my mane would look like.
One more thing, Misty. Check under your gown.
Now what?
And of course, the soundtrack playing in the background is Mysteria Lux Tenebrae, and the melody for it is a major version of the track called Misty, which first played in episode 1. And
How do you know?
to explain her cutie mark, I guess it's like the different colors of the elements of harmony being united as one star.
We did see through your attempt at just
Something
being a
along those
fortune
lines.
teller, but with
Yes,
how hard
Princess Celestia and Luna saw her attempts to be a fortune teller. They were not that gullible. But they just let her do it because they knew how hard she was trying. And how I actually did this score that played is kind of inspired by the Madoka Magica soundtrack by Yuki Kajura, and that OST is amazing.
So sorry.
By the way, yeah, go check out that OST. It's really cool. Like that OST is one of my favorites that I get inspired by, as well as the Made in Abyss OST. That's my absolute favorite. My favorite anime. Getting a season 2, I'm looking forward to that. Oh yes, and then we have this picture done by Wolf Harmony, and I like when she is crying like this, the melody of fiery orbs, but played in a more hopeful yet sad way with the strings, kind of says something.
I'm the one who should be apologizing here.
Like the final battle scene, I actually composed the OST when the audio for this was already done, so I kind of had it as a film soundtrack format. But yes, it sounds much cleaner than my attempt to do it in TCG episode 1.
I've had to rule an entire kingdom by myself for 1,000 winters.
And then Celestia and Luna let Misty know that she's not the only one that's lived in solitude. They both have, because Celestia has a habit of banishing her sisters a lot. Yes, Skylight Glow pointed that out. I would add a counter of how many times I mention her name, but I really can't be bothered going through that and just adding a counter. Wow, I am really lazy. I love this image. This image by Wolf Harmony is just so pretty, with all the sparkles in everyone's hair, and it's just, and all the gloppy tears, I think she called it. And then we have 2 images from Shooting Star, and then the rest of my scene. A scene is done by me, because Shooting Star had some problems with her computer, so that was all she could send me. And like the previous scene, this one, the background was done completely by scratch as well. I had the backgrounds as color references, but I wanted to create the background myself, because it's not that hard to do. There's just, you know, shapes and stuff.
Congratulations, Sugar Cube.
And then there's Misty, looking at Rainbow Dash.
You okay?
And saving the most important interaction for last.
I'm sorry for everything that has happened. Don't be.
And like typical Musescript writing fashion, she cries for the bajillionth plus 1th time. Because that's a habit of mine, I guess. But don't worry, that is the last time she cries in this audio drama. In TCG episode 7, 8, and 9, I was making her sob her eyes out like crazy. And like, she even apologizes for being sappy.
I'm here, living another life.
But I love the relationship that Misty and Rainbow have. It's just so sweet. That's probably a reason why I've started shipping them together as well. I mean, I do still ship Pinky Dash in a way. Kind of. But, I think Nis Dash is taking over my shipping section. And then we've got Prisma Nocturnal Pony's second scene of art, where the aspect ratio is crazy. But I love her art anyway. And then Blue Streak is just completely nuts.
Yes, I would.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that Rainbow Dash is actually tearing up in this picture. When I was voicing this scene, I hadn't actually seen her art yet. And then we have all the villains. I thought having that just kind of panned out with a bit of transparency would actually work really well. And I had to do a little fade there because those 2 shots were not as identical as I thought. and this had a very, very thin aspect ratio, so that's why her face was so close up, I guess. And then we have the crowd of ponies clapping, yay. And then this art is Zoe, and guys, one of the first artists to send me pieces, I guess. Yes. How do you draw? Along with the Wonderbolt uniform. Someone was like, Celestia shouldn't have the authority to make Rainbow Dash a Wonderbolt. But then I was like, Celestia probably had a discussion with this with Spitfire before the celebration started. Yes, Pinky is literally calling me out because Rainbow Dash was made a Wonderbolt back in Season 6, which was in 2016. But this is my AU and I can do what I want. Oh yeah. And those two lines were, you know, a recall to episode 1. Yeah, 2 celebrations with the same pony can do that to you. And that is the only line that Dark Knight Princess has.
Wait for me.
And then Spike joins her on the kiddie slide, which is cute. And yes, I play Spitfire. Yeah, I mean, I know I had Luna Bruce in the credits as Spitfire for, like, most of the series, even though she only appeared in, like, 1 episode. Whilst I voiced Spitfire for the rest of the episodes. I think it was episode 5 and this one.
Listen, Spitfire. About the sonic rainbow. She gave it up to save me.
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned before, with the alternate ending where Rainbow Dash finds a brooch that gives her the ability to perform the sonic rainbow, and that was the original ending for this episode. And then this was the bit that was changed, saying, oh yeah, she sacrificed it, yeah. And while Misty is having this little monologue, the main theme of TCG is playing in the background, showing that it has come full circle.
I couldn't agree more.
And then we have Dragon Star Productions' art for the episode.
Though Celestia wanted to keep our visit a surprise.
Dragon Star Productions, one of the only artists that has stayed on the team since the very first episode. And I've seen how her art has evolved over that time. And King Sofidos is supposed to have a up-sided triangle now, but it doesn't matter. I love that pose that Liako is pulling.
There's still one thing I don't understand.
Oh yes, this bit. Another confusing thing I had to explain, because even to me it's confusing and I wrote the thing. So why are Misty and Blue Streak apprentices was because Hyuga kind of chose them, in a way, because they'd be the most important. Yeah, because Rainbow Dash's parents don't matter in this audio drama, the end. I kept trying to say, Misty's vest is supposed to be there until it gets taken off, but then there was a continuity error. But, oh well, I mean, it's the end of the audio drama now, so I guess I'll be more clear with stuff when I work on the next one. And Spitfire just has a one-track mind, is just thinking, okay, the Sonic Rainbow's not happening. I didn't get any of that stuff about apprentices and stuff and like that, and I don't know who these giant ponies are that have just crushed the party. No, I'm thinking she wouldn't be thinking all that, but like, it was just funny.
I'm always amazed by this pony.
This image is completely inaccurate because I would not be crying so much that I would need tissues.
Heroes come in many shapes and forms.
And then we have this bit, which is the very last scene of the episode where Misty has returned to being in a cloak.
Now I'm going to tell you what happens next.
And so then we have Rainbow Dash as a Wonderbolt. Drawing ponies in Wonderbolt outfits are really, really tricky. Oh yes, and then we have Firefly, because... And then we have Rainbow Dash's actual parents, and 2 characters from Among Us Logic in the background, because I enjoy that series. Too bad it's over, but oh well. Anyways, so this is Liako's new look as the queen of the Kingdom Lands. She's got a new dress going on. And Spike has volunteered to send letters to Liako. It's like, "Dear Liako, the second day I'm thinking about you, and then I'll be old enough to date or whatever." I don't know. And then we have Ice Gaze with Lumina. And then we have babies. Offspring of Angel and Holly. So I think she was supposed to be under a cloak that whole time, but then in episode 1 she had glasses. Oh yeah, Nis Dash Forever / Blue Streak. So Blue Streak already ships them together. So that's why I put that there, because I also ship them together too. Yeah. And then we go to the last song of the audio drama, sung by the characters. I wanted to do a reprise of the very first song of the audio drama, Going My Way. Someone actually said that it sounded like How the Magic of Friendship Grows, which is really funny because the original song was back in March of 2018, so before season 8 had aired, so I had no idea what the songs of season 9 were gonna sound like. So, technically speaking, I was first. And this actually shows, like, in the original version, Going My Way, it was just Rainbow Dash just thinking about, like, her, you know, like, becoming a Wonderbolt and stuff. But for this reprise, we see all the lives that have been changed thanks to her efforts, and I think that's really impactful to show how much Rainbow has impacted everyone else. Like, Misty got to be finally reunited with her sisters, Liako and her father are back together with the typical daughter and father dynamic. The Kano guards are fine. Blue Streak exists. And the goddesses have been freed, all thanks to Rainbow Dash. And that's giving Rainbow a little ego boost. Like, hey, I saved everyone's lives! The end! And there's the end. Speaking of which. And then we have the Color Goddess title that shows up for the last time. I actually did that for the THS finale. Reason I didn't do a commentary for the THS finale was because I did a reaction to it with Piano Pod. So this song is called The Power Within, and I think this was the first song that I wrote in East West for the episode. And one of my first experiences with East West, I guess. And yeah, I wanted it to sound epic, like an epic credits song, like My Heart Will Go On. Well, not even My Heart Will Go On, but, you know. Like an epic credits song would just start off small with little to no instruments. And then it would build up, and I think other audio dramas I got inspired by for credit scenes like this are like Bride of Discord and Daughter of Discord. And yeah, those audio dramas. There've only been a small handful of them that have actually been completed. Most are ongoing, some have been cancelled. I'm still amazed that I have completed 2 audio dramas within 5 years, and I've got a 3rd one coming up because I've just got such a creative mind and I want to expand stuff. So, yeah. This whole credits scene was actually done in PowerPoint, and I just saved the images and put them in Movie Maker. Through the thin and the thin. I love this song. It was very hard to record this song, by the way. By the end, my voice was dying. So, yeah. And then we have images from episode 1 up until the very last episode, where I showcased the other VA cast like Death by Zero, Round, and TMNT Philly for Life, who did the nurse. I had one line in that. And I also wanted to give thanks to these VAs that were there during the audio drama's run, but had to drop out before the last episode, so they couldn't entirely be there. Just watching all of these images pop up on the screen just gives me so much nostalgia. I started this series, I started production for this series, before I had hit, I think it was before I hit 500 or 600 subscribers in, January of 2018. Very excited to get into it. And I was not aware back then of how long it would take me to complete the series, or how popular my channel would get during that time, that I would go from 600 to 6,000. So it just made it all the more impactful, because this is the longest audio drama I have done since THS was in the span of a year, or rather 10 months. I was crazy then. I was in my first year of university, and I completed an audio drama within 10 months, mostly by myself. What is wrong with me? That's why it was really impactful for this audio drama. I had so many amazing cast members help me with art and voice acting. I loved working with every single one of them. It was a privilege, let's just say. And I'm looking forward to working with the casting crew for The Demon's Daughter. I will have a casting call for that at some point. I'll let you know when I do, because yeah, I will definitely need some voices for that audio drama. I'm just waiting for the credits thing to go up for a little second. And then that's my little message that I had, because yeah, I think this audio drama got completed at the same amount of time as Princess Trixie Sparkle, or maybe even longer. The Demon's Daughter is the next upcoming project, and that surprised a lot of people. Whoa, you're doing another one? Really? So yeah, that was my commentary to the last episode of The Color Goddess, which was a banger of an episode. It was just epic to work on. And now that I have talked about this episode, for a while I actually did feel it did feel bittersweet finishing it. I'm like, wow, it took me a second to process that I had actually finished the series. I'm like, I'm no longer working on the series anymore. I'm like, what? What do I do? I don't know. I think I felt the same way with THS, but I can't remember. But anyways, I'm going to tell you a little bit of information about the next audio drama I'm working on. So, this is actually going to be a sequel to TCG, fun fact. So it'll be a continuation of TCG, so it'll be in that universe, but I won't reveal more details about that until later. I am going to release a tiny little teaser concept trailer at the end of this year to give some idea of a bit about what it's about, and then shortly after that comes out, I will release a casting call. So look forward to that. I have also already composed the main theme for for The Demon's Daughter, and the soundtrack will be done in East-West, so I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be really exciting to work on. And yeah, I hope you guys stay tuned for that. Anyways, I'm going to end my commentary there because this is taken a while. I'm glad that I edit the commentaries in Movie Maker instead of Corel, so it won't take me as long to render out. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Look forward to the upcoming stuff for the Demon's Daughter coming out at like the end of the year. And this is Musescript signing out. Bye!